Microsoft Intune. A brief overview. What is Microsoft Intune? Microsoft Intune is a cloud-based solution, a solution for managing devices, drivers, policies and apps remotely from anywhere in the world that has access to the internet. Intune replaces the need for end users to manually install these things for themselves, or have someone from their IT department manually do it for them. After all, not all end users know what they are doing and can quickly run into all sorts of trouble. Trouble that can quite often not be very forgiving. So why do organisations use Intune? Intune is great for managing a mobile workforce, with staff working from home, on the move, as well as traditional office-based staff. Using devices that not only run Windows, but also Apple macOS, Linux, Chrome OS, Android for some smartphones and tablets, as well as iOS for Apple iPhones and iPads. Think of Microsoft Intune as like the IT department having a giant remote control for all company devices. It can replace or work with its older, less mobile counterpart, the on-premise Windows Active Directory, or AD for short. However, what motivates organisations to move entirely to the cloud is that these older systems tend to demand routine upgrades, replacements and maintenance, which are not only expensive, but require dedicated, experienced IT staff, not to mention enough physical space to store them. Nevertheless, some larger organisations still use them, including us, Brother, at the time I presented this short course. So, what specifically can you do with Intune, and how does it relate back to Brother? Intune enables IT administrators to remotely deploy apps. Apps including Desktop Connect, previously known as iPrint and Scan, BR Admin Professional, the Mass Deployment Tool, and even Brother pTouch Editor, as well as many other apps from Brother. Intune can also remotely deploy device drivers and set things up, including Brother printer and scanner drivers. Intune can also enforce restrictions, security policies, remotely wipe lost or stolen devices, as well as separate work and personal data, which supports a modern workforce that often have requirements to use their own devices, more commonly known as BYOD or Bring Your Own Device. Since Intune's infrastructure exists on the cloud, organisations are no longer responsible for physical hardware. Instead, this is outsourced to Microsoft and managed by their team of professionals. Now that you know a little more about Microsoft Intune, what can you tell your customer? What can we say to them when they ask us, "Can I still deploy printer drivers?" after Windows Protected Print Mode, WPP, has been turned on? We can say to them, yes. However, they will use something called a generic Windows Internet Printing Protocol driver, more commonly known as an IPP driver. Unlike a traditional Brother printer driver, the IPP driver has limited functionality. To introduce more back to it, the IPP driver can work alongside something called the Brother Print Support app, often shortened to Brother PSA. Both the IPP driver and the Brother PSA can be remotely deployed through Intune. can I update my brother device's firmware through Intune? Yes and no. Intune does not communicate directly with brother devices, but instead through a Windows computer. This means that it cannot be used to independently update firmware. Therefore, Intune can deploy our firmware update tools to Windows, which in turn can make a connection to the customer's brother devices. Now don't forget, most of our devices can be set up to automatically connect a brother device to the brother cloud server, independently of any computer or server, to search for and update firmware. What about brother device security certificates? Can Intune remotely deploy them to brother devices? Again, the answer is yes and no. Remember, brother devices cannot communicate directly with Intune. However, they can communicate with Windows computers. Since Intune can also communicate with Windows computers, it is possible to deploy our device management utility, BRadmin, that, amongst many other things, can deploy and auto-renew certificates. I'd like to go back to my WPP question, please. My customer does not want to enable it. Can I still deploy traditional legacy brother printer drivers? Yes, you can. They can deploy them in a range of different ways until WPP becomes a function that cannot be turned off. Brother has a range of apps available to both Android and iOS devices. Can I use Intune to remotely deploy them to my company's managed mobile devices? Yes, as long as they are available on the public app stores. Thank you very much for watching my course.